Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video we will be looking into Express version 5 which has just been released. So we will be going through this blog post. So Express version 5 was released on October 15th. So here let's start. 10 years ago, July 2014, the Express v5 release pull request was opened, and now at long last it has been merged and published. We want to recognize the work of all our contributors, especially Doug Wilson, who spent the last 10 years ensuring Express was the most stable project around. Without its contributors and those of many others, this release could not have happened. 8 years ago we went public with a plan to move Express forward. This plan included recommitting to the governance outlined years ago and adding more contributors to help kickstart progress. Many people may not realize that robust project governance is critical to the health of large open source project. We want to thank the OpenJS Foundation, Cross Project Console, and its member for helping us put together this plan. So what about v5? This release is designed to be boring. That may sound odd, but we have intentionally kept it simple to unblock the ecosystem and enable more impactful changes in future releases. This is also about signaling to the Node.js ecosystem that Express is moving again. The focus of this release is on dropping old Node.js support, addressing security concerns, and simplifying maintenance. Before going into the changes in this release, let's address why it was released v5 on the next dish tag. As part of reviving the project, we started a security working group and the security triage team to address the growing needs of around open source supply chain security. We overtook a security audit. More details to come on that, and uncovered some problems that needed to be addressed. Thus, in addition to the normal work done in public issues, we also did lot of security works in private forks. This security work requires orchestration when releasing to ensure the code and the CEV reports went out together. You can find a summary of the most recent vulnerabilities patched in our security release notes. While we weren't able to simultaneously release v5, this blog post, the changelog, and the documentation, we felt that it was most important to have secure and stable release. As soon as possible, we will provide more details on our long-term support plan, including when the release will move from next to latest. For now, if you are uncomfortable being on the bleeding edge, even if it's a rather dull edge, then you should wait to upgrade until the release is tagged latest. That said, we look forward to working with you to address any bugs you encountered as you upgrade. The v5 release has the minimum possible number of breaking changes listed here in order of impact to application: ending support for old Node.js version, changes to path matching and regular expression, promise support, body parser changes, removing deprecated method signatures. There are also a number of subtle changes. For details, see migrating to Express 5, ending support for old Node.js version, goodbye Node.js 0.10, hello Node 18 and up. This release drops support for Node.js version before version 18. This is an important change because supporting old Node.js version has been holding back many critical performance and maintainability changes. This change also enables more stable and maintainable continuous integration, adopting new language and runtime features and dropping dependencies that are no longer required. We recognize that this might cause difficulty for some enterprises with older or parked applications, and because this, we are working on a partnership with Hero Devs to offer never-ending support that will include critical security patches even after v4 ends end of life. More on this plan soon. That said, we strongly suggest that you update to modern Node.js version as soon as possible. Changes to patch matching and regular expression. The v5 release updates to path to regular expression 8x from path to regular expression 0x, which incorporates many years of changes. If you are using any of this 5.0 beta releases, a last minute update which greatly changed the path semantics to remove the possibility of any REDOS attacks. For more detailed changes, see the part 2 regular expression readme. No more regex. This release no longer supports sub expression regular expression. For example, this is a commonly used pattern, but we removed it for security reason. Unfortunately, it's easier to write regular expression that has exponential time behavior when parsing input. The dreaded regular expression denial of service attack, it's very difficult to prevent this, but as a library that converts strings to regular expression, we are on the hook for such security aspects. How to migrate? The best approach to prevent RDOS attacks is to use robust input validation libraries. There are many on npm depending on your needs. TC member Westod maintains a middleware based code first open API library for this kind of thing. Spalts, optionals and captures. Oh my, this release includes simplified patterns for common route patterns with the removal of regular expression. Semantics comes other small but impactful changes on how to write your routes. Name question mark becomes name. Usage of curly brace for optional parts of your route means that you can now do things like base slash optional slash required, and what parts are required are actually optional is much more explicit. Star becomes star name. New reserved characters like opening this, all these brackets, question mark, plus and exclamation, these have been reserved to leave room for future improvements and to prevent mistakes when migrating where those characters mean specific changes in previous versions. Name everything. This release no longer supports order numerical parameters. In Express v4 you could get numerical parameter using regular expression capture groups, for example slash users s question mark then arrow request.parameters of 0 is equal to s. Now all parameters must be named along with requiring a name. Express now supports all valid JavaScript identifiers or quoted, for example colon this. Promise support. This one may be a bit contagious, but we promise we are moving in the right direction. We added support for return rejected promise from errors raised in middleware. This does not include calling next from return resolved promises. There are a lot of edge cases in old Express apps that have expectation of promise behavior, and before we can run we need to walk. For most folks this means you can write middleware like the following: app.use async request response next request.local.user is equal to await.getUser request next. Notice that this example uses async await, and the get user call may throw an error if, for example, the user doesn't exist, the user database is down, and so on. But we still call next if it is successful. We don't need to catch the error in line anymore if we want to rely on error handling middlewares. Instead, because the router will now catch the rejected promise and treat that as calling next error, best practice is to handle errors as close to the site as possible. So while this is now handled in the router, it's best to catch the error in middleware and handle it without relying on a separate error handling middleware. Body parser changes. There are a number of body parser changes. Add option to customize the URL encoded body depth with a default value of 32 as mitigation for CEV 2024 45590 technical details. Remove deprecated body parser combination middleware. Request.body is no longer always initialized to empty curly braces. URL encoded parser now defaults extends to false. Added support for Brotli lossless data compression. Removing deprecated method signature. Express v5 removes a number of deprecated method signature, many of which were carried from v3. Below are the changes you need to make. res.redirect back and res.location back. The magic string back is no longer supported. Use request.get referrer or the slash explicitly instead. res.send response.send status body and response.send body status signature. Use response.status status.send body. Then there are all of this as well, which you can look into. As a framework, we aim to ensure that APIs is as consistent as possible. We have removed this deprecated signature to make the API more predictable and easier to use. By streamlining each method to use a single consistent signature, we simplify the developer experience and reduce confusion. Migration and security guidance for developers looking to migrate from v4 to v5. There is a detailed migration guide to help you navigate through the changes and ensure a smooth upgrade process. Additionally, we have been working hard on a comprehensive thread model that helps illustrate our philosophy of fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node.js. It provides critical insights into areas like user input, validation, and security practices that are essential for safe and secure usage of Express inside in your application. Our work is just starting. We see that v5 release as a milestone towards an Express ecosystem that's stable and reliable tool for companies, governments, educators, and hobby project. It is our commitment as the new stewards of the Express project to move the ecosystem forward with this goal in mind. If you want to support this work which we do on a volunteer basis, please consider supporting the project and its maintainer via our sponsorship opportunities. We have an extensive working backlog of tasks, PRs, and issues for Express and dependencies. Naturally, we expect developers will continue to report issues to add to this backlog and open PRs moving forward, and we continue to collaborate with the community to triage and resolve them. We look forward to continuing to improve Express and making it useful for its user across the world. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.